Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of my Fibres and Fabrics series. This video is all about recycled and upcycled materials, and make sure you stick around to the end because I have a really exciting giveaway for you. So to me, recycled and upcycled clothing in particular is kind of the best of both worlds of shopping secondhand and buying new, because you get new designs usually available in a range of sizes and styles made from materials that already exist. First, I'm going to talk about recycling textiles, and this is where clothes are broken back down into fibers and respun and then knit or woven back into fabrics, or they can be made from other materials like plastics. And the way that this is done depends a lot on the kind of material it is. Recycled synthetic materials can be made from other synthetic textiles or from plastics like water bottles. They're usually separated, melted down, and turned into little pellets, which can then be made into a variety of plastic products. Fleece, I think, is the most common material I've seen made from recycled PET, and it's definitely better to buy recycled materials over new ones, but there are some issues around recycling textiles. This type of recycling is often referred to as downcycling because every time the plastic is melted, the quality goes down. So for example, a plastic bottle cannot become another plastic bottle. It has to become something like fleece, maybe carpet fibers, and then it's often turned into like plastic lumber for making picnic benches and stuff like that. But eventually it will become waste because it can no longer be recycled. So in some ways, this does just prolong the use of plastics instead of addressing the root problems, which is the production of too much plastic. Polyester and nylon can also be chemically recycled, which involves dissolving them and breaking them back down into their original molecules, which can then be reformed into fibers. This makes synthetic fibers that are basically the same quality as virgin ones, but the process can be expensive and it also can only be used with specific materials. For example, it has to be 100% polyester or 100% nylon. It also can't have any sort of coating like a waterproof, anti-static, or anti-wrinkle coating because that will contaminate the chemical process. If you're interested in learning more about chemical textile recycling, I will link to an article below which talks about Patagonia's textile recycling and their challenges with this. And both of these synthetic recycling processes can't use any sort of blends, so no polyester and spandex or nylon and rayon or anything like that, and unfortunately blends are pretty common. Finally, another way to recycle textiles, and the main way to break down and recycle natural fiber materials, is by shredding them all up so that they're turned back into fluffy fibers, which are then respun into yarn. This process can be done, I think, with any kind of material, but the big challenge with this is that because the fibers are all chopped up, they become quite a bit shorter, which means that they're of lower quality, and it's more likely that the yarn, if it's just pure recycled fibers, could break or tear. So in order to combat this problem, the recycled fibers have to be blended with new fibers. And I've usually seen about 30 to 50% recycled fibers, but there are companies like Mud Jeans, which I'll link below, which has 80% recycled sweaters using their old jeans. There is a company who last year introduced a way to make 100% recycled cotton material, but as far as I can tell, this is still in development and not yet available to consumers. What's even better than recycling is upcycling and using reclaimed materials because there's no energy or chemical process needed to break down the textiles and remake them. Upcycled garments often refers to clothes that are made from secondhand or leftover textiles, and these can be DIY projects or produced and sold, but they're almost always unique or one of a kind because they're made from limited materials. I also think that creating upcycled clothing requires extra creativity because you have to work with what's available and create designs and patterns that fit on the clothes and materials that you're working with. Some brands will use reclaimed or deadstock fabrics, and these are fabrics that were often purchased by another company and never used, or maybe the company went out of business. Sometimes they're even vintage fabrics that were in storage somewhere and forgotten about. They can also be fabrics that came from the textile mill with some flaws. Maybe there was inconsistent dye, they came out the wrong color, had some holes or pulled threads. And brands that use reclaimed materials will take those fabrics and create designs and patterns where they can work around any flaws. Brands like this can often produce more than one of a style, but they're still generally available in very limited quantities, which also makes them more special. So now I have a really exciting recycling themed giveaway for you guys. I have a reclaimed jumper, an upcycled zipper pouch, and a recycled necklace for you to win. The lovely ladies at Antiform sent me this cozy box jumper, and they are a UK company. They use all reclaimed materials and make everything in England. This is a one-size jumper, one of their signature pieces that they make in different fabrics. This particular one is made from reclaimed Irish wool herringbone. The sleeves are a wool boucle knit, and it has mixed fiber trims which were cut from an imperfect cable knit. I also have this upcycled suede zipper pouch. And this was made by a friend of mine who I studied fashion design with, and she has a company called Suede & Co. where they make bags and pouches from vintage fabrics. She worked for a vintage fashion brand that would often cut suede skirts shorter or turn jeans into shorts, and instead of throwing out all the offcuts and remnants, she had the idea to turn them into these cute little bags. They're all made in London from vintage recycled materials. This one's a beautiful dusty pink and forest green with a really cute floral lining, and it's a good size to throw in your bag or even just use as a clutch. And finally, there's this necklace from Zephyr Eco Jewels, and they're an Australian company that uses recycled metals and materials. This long pendant necklace is made from recycled brass, plated with sterling silver, and all their metal is nickel, lead, and cadmium free, and the black part is recycled glass. I will include links to all of these companies below, so definitely check them out. And in order to win this giveaway, you just have to comment below something that you recycle or upcycle. And it can be something simple like plastic containers, but if you recycle anything unique or interesting, please share that so that we can have a whole bunch of recycling ideas and inspiration. The winner will be randomly selected, and be sure to read the giveaway rules in the description. Additionally, you can have up to 2 extra entries by sharing a photo of something you've upcycled on Instagram and/or Twitter and use the hashtag myupcycle. This giveaway will be open for 2 weeks, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.